Today we are going to review add and subtract fractions. So the learning target is that I can add and subtract fractions and mix numbers fluently. When adding and subtracting fractions, you must have common denominators. The top number in the fraction is called a numerator. And the bottom number in a fraction is called a denominator. Blank is a type of fraction when the numerator is bigger than the denominator, and that is an improper fraction, which we'll see a lot of those when we're adding and subtracting mixed numbers, which brings us to our next definition. Blank is a number that consists of a whole number and a fraction, and that's a mixed number. Okay. So example 1 says to add 1/8 plus 7/10. So here, step 1, we are going to find a common multiple of the denominator. So we have 8 and 10. Multiple would be like 8 times 1 is 8. That's a multiple of 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 is a multiple of 8. So if we keep going down the line, at what point does 10 and 8 have a multiple? So if we go 8 times 3, that's 24. 10 does not have a multiple of 24. 8 times 4 is 32. 10 does not have a multiple of 32. 8 times 5 is 40. 10 does have a multiple of 40. 4 times 10 is 40. So we could say 1/8 and 7/10. Common multiple is 40. So 8 times 5 gives us 40. So I'm going to multiply this fraction by 5. So 1 times 5 is 5, and 8 times 5 is 40. Okay, and then I want this denominator also down here to be 40, so that's going to be multiplying by 4. 7 times 4 is 28, and 10 times 4 is 40. So we used a common multiple, and therefore now they have common denominators. So we already did step 2, which was create equivalent fractions by multiplying the numerator by the same number. So we can't just multiply 8 times 5 to get 40. We also have to multiply the numerator. So then it says add and subtract. So we have 540 plus 28 40. And when we add and subtract fractions, after we get a common denominator, we only add or subtract the numerator. So 28 plus 5, 8 plus 5 is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 2 plus 1 is 3. So that's 33 over 40. Okay, so after we keep the denominator the same, we are going to simplify. So is there a number that divides into 33 evenly that also divides into 40? And the answer is no. So that is our answer, 33 over 40. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Number 2 says that we need 5 6 plus 1/3. Okay, so this one's a little different simply because I'm going to look at the smaller denominator. So my smaller denominator is 3, right? Is there a multiple of 3 that gets me to a multiple of 6? Well, I can actually convert 3 to 6, right? So that's all I have to do, and then I only have to manipulate one of my fractions. So if I take 1 over 3, that didn't work, 1 over 3, okay, I can get a denominator of 6 by multiplying 3 by what? That would be by 2. And what I do to the denominator, I have to do to the the numerator. So 1 times 2 is 2, and 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, so now I'm ready, and I only had to fix one fraction, so that makes my life easier. Okay, and I have 5, 6 plus 2, 6. So 5 plus 2 is 7. And 6 plus 6 is, we don't do that, right? We just keep our denominator the same. So now we have one of those things that are called improper fractions, where we have a bigger number on top. When we have a bigger number on top, we want to convert it to a mixed number. We never want to leave our answer into an improper fraction. So remember division notation in fraction form. So that means 7 divided by 6. So we have 7 divided by 6. 6 goes into 7 one time. Minus 6 is 1 left over. Okay, so this is your whole number. This is your numerator. And this is your denominator. Okay, so your mixed number of your improper fraction of 7 over 6 becomes 1 with my whole. My numerator is 1 and my denominator is 6. So it is 1 and 1/6. Okay, let's move to the next one. Now we have mixed numbers. So I'm going to bring 9 and 2/12 over here. So if we remember from last year, we can convert our mixed numbers to improper fractions. So we have 9 times 12 plus 2, right? So 9 times 12, 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 1 is 10. Okay, so then we have to add 2, so that makes it 110. So 110 over 12 would be changing my improper fraction, my mixed number into an improper fraction. So we're going to do the same with the other number, 5 and 7/8. So multiply here and add here, and your denominator stays the same. So 5 times 8 is 40, and then plus 7 is 47. Remember, your denominator stays the same. So it is 47 over 8. Okay, so now I need common denominators, right? So another way that you could do this is, instead of finding multiples where they agree on, you could just multiply the two denominators. So what I mean by that is 110 divided by 12. We can multiply it by 8 because that's the other denominator. And then so 47 over 8, we would multiply by 12. So do we agree if we see right here 12 times 8, that's going to give us a number, and it's going to be the same thing as 8 times 12, correct? So you could do that, or you can find the common multiple. So what's the common multiple between 8 and 12? So 8 times 1 is 8, not common multiple. 8 times 2 is 16, not a common multiple. 8 times 3 is 24. Can we multiply 12 times something to get to 24? And the answer is yes. Okay, so I want you to go ahead and press pause and finish this problem out, and then press play when you have finished. Okay, so for your improper fraction, you should have gotten 1,444 over 96. And so then what you would have to do is divide 96. I don't have my pen anymore. Let me grab it. Divide 96 into 1,444. Okay, so it goes in one time right here, which is 96. We have to borrow, make that a 14 and that a 3. 14 minus 6 is 8. And then we have to borrow again, making that a 13. 13 minus 9 is 4. Okay, so then we would bring our 4 down and say, how many times does 96 go into 484? Okay, so I'm going to go off to the side and say 96 times 5. 6 times 5 is 30. 45, 4, 6, 4, 7, 48. Okay, So then there is 4 left over. So then that would be 15 and 4 over 96, which can be simplified to dividing by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And 96 divided by 2 is 48. And we could divide again. 15 and 2 divided by 2 is 1. And 48 divided by 2 is 15 and 1 over 24. So it was a super, super long one. You could add your whole numbers together at the end and just worry about the fractions, and it makes it a much nicer problem. But I wanted to work on how we convert into a mixed number. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Hopefully that one didn't confuse y'all too much. So here, number 4, super easy. We already have common denominators, so I'm going to leave number 4 for you to do on your own, and we will check it tomorrow. Okay, number 5, 9 over 11 minus 1 over 3. So this is where I said that it might just be easier for you to multiply the denominators times each other to get your common multiple. Okay, so, and actually in this case, that is your least common multiple. So 11 times the other denominator would be times 3, and 3 times the other denominator would be 11. So then 9 times 3 is 27, and 11 times 3 is 33. And then here we have 1 times 11, which is 11, and 3 times 11, which is 33. So now I have common denominators. I'm going to rewrite my problem. 27 over 33 minus 11 over 33. So important to make sure you keep that correct order. So now I just subtract my numerators, which is 27 minus 11. 7 minus 1 is 6, and 2 minus 1 is 1. So now I have 16 divided by 33, or over 33. Is there any number that divides into 16 evenly that divides into 33 so that we can simplify? And the answer is no. So then that's our answer right there. Okay. Number 7, a jug holds 7/8 cups of milk, and Janice pours 0.5 or 5/10 cups of milk of juice into a glass. How much juice, so I should say juice, sorry. How much juice is left in the jug? Simplify if needed. So we have 7/8 in this jug, right? So we're going to make this little jug. And we poured out 5/10, so 0.5, 5/10, write it like you read it. We poured out that much. And let's know how much is left. So we took this out. So our problem would be 7/8 minus 5/10. Okay, I'm going to have you press pause and go and try to solve this problem, getting common denominators, and press play once you have finished. Okay, so you should have gotten a common denominator and subtracted. I don't know if your denominator looks like mine, but I chose to multiply the denominators times each other on the opposite fraction. And I got 30 over 80 over here. And when I got 30 over 80, I simplified, and it gave me 3 over 8. So even if your denominator wasn't the same as mine, your answer should be 3 over 8. Okay. We have one more problem. I'm going to have you, so Anaya and Zeke were in a pie eating contest. Anaya ate 3/8 of a pie, and Zeke ate 25 hundredths of a pie. Real quick, write it like you read it. 25 hundredths is 25 over what? It would be over 100. And it says, how much more pie did Anaya eat than Zeke? So Anaya ate 3/8, and Zeke ate 25 hundredths. Okay, can we simplify this ratio? Yes, 25, if I divide each number by 25, I can simplify it. So 25 divided by 25 is 1, and 100 divided by 25 is 4. So it makes it a little bit easier if you can simplify any fraction that you're working with. And so 25 hundredths becomes 1/4 simplified. So now I think that problem's super easy because 4, you can multiply it by something to get to 8. Okay. Okay, so go ahead and finish this one, and we will check it tomorrow. So you have number 8 to finish, and you have number 5, I believe. We put a star next to it. And then you have 2 summary questions. Please let me know if you have any questions and be ready to go in class.